Okay, it being the appointed hour, we'll call the Committee on Election Law and Municipal Affairs to order. And our first bill is House Bill 1689. And I think I saw. Oh, all right.
Mr. Chair, I'm Senator Tim Lang. I'll be introducing House Bill 1689, relative to the terms of office for county officers in the Merrimack County.
Okay. And Representative, you're coming up? Oh, you said no? Kate Horgan said no? I don't have any questions. Yep.
So, Mr. Chair, as a further introduction of the bill, we've been doing this with several counties throughout the state. I think we've done Coas County and I think it was Rockingham or Hillsborough a few years ago. Rockingham, according to Kate back then, where we're extending the professional offices within a county government to 4-year terms rather than 2-year terms, so they're not in a constant campaign cycle that we're stuck in. But instead, those professional officers like sheriff, police officers, and the county registrar and the county attorney that are professional officers, to give them 4-year terms so that they're not in a constant campaign cycle. And Mr. Chair, I do have an amendment to this bill to add Belknap
All right,
County.
we'll do that amendment during the executive session. All right, and with that, we'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to go in executive session?
So moved.
We have a motion to go into executive session. A second, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We're in executive session.
Thank you,
Senator,
Mr. Chair. I'm going to move on to pass on 1689.
We have ought to pass. Second. And a second. And you have an amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm going to offer amendment number 1193S. This bill uses the same exact language as you see in the original bill, but it just adds another section to make Belknap County the same thing, moving the professional officers of the sheriff, the county attorney, the county treasurer, the registrar of deeds, and the registrar of probate to a 4-year term instead of a 2-year term.
Okay. Let me find a copy.
It seems like in the amendment, there's also language to move this into the 2026 election.
Correct. So for Belknap, I pushed it out to 28. I thought it was fair to give everybody notice, considering the filing date is around the corner. The original Merrimack bill still has the 26 election. I didn't change the language in the original bill that had 26 for Merrimack. That's what they chose for the citizens of Merrimack. I cover the Belknap, but not Merrimack. So I put 28 to give the citizens a chance to get
All
ready
right.
for that.
Senator Lang moves and I'll second. Any further discussion on the amendment? 1193S. Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Now the bill as amended. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Consent.
Move consent.
Any objections? Seeing no objections, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And Senator Lang,
I'll take it out.
you got the amendment, you get the bill. All right, let's go into bills that we already heard and haven't exec.
Okay.
I think I'm going to do them right in numerical order. Starting with House bills, I guess.
158.
158.
Second.
All right. We have an OTP motion. Senator Lang, Senator Rochford. I will offer amendment 1193S.
Second that.
91S. Excuse me.
91, yes, 91.
Right. All right. Now, on that amendment, on line 12, forward should be forwarded, right?
Secretary of State shall forward. On line 12?
What amendment do you have?
I had 1080, but you have new 1191, which I also have.
1191.
All right.
It's on your table.
I do have it. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
All right, so what this does is, this allows the Secretary of State to, anything that he sees that is worthy of inspection, to send those over to the AG. But it also preserves that when we have multiple voters sending to a single address, that those, would be one of the things that we would look at. But if we find out that, in one election that there's 16 ballots, as was the testimony, going to a single address, and that happens to be some kind of a boarding house at a college, then they don't have to send them over anymore. Okay.
So, just to clarify, this essentially would give the Attorney General the discretion to identify
Secretary of
facts that
State.
are worthy of investigation.
Secretary of State would do the determination if he saw anything there.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, I would hope that he would consult with the Attorney General, but he would not have to. He's the one with the records. Okay.
And then refer it to the Attorney General
he
for
would refer it-
investigation.
Right. That we use the word review,
Okay.
investigative review.
And this is a replace all. This review shall include a request by multiple voters. Okay.
Okay, so we have the amendment as amended by the committee. Does everybody know what they're voting on? All those,
Did we vote on the amendment already?
no. We're gonna do it all in one felt swoop. All those in favor of the amendment as amended, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Now the bill as amended, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Do I have any objections to consent?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I guess I'll take that one out. The next one I've got is 1118.
164 next.
That's right.
Oh, we're good.
160.
We do? All right,
164.
164. Let me find it. Yep. I guess I pulled from the wrong spot. Secretary of State, when I went and talked to them, they were happy with that.
Move on to pass.
Okay, we have an OTP,
Second?
Roachford. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Move consent.
The ayes have it. Any objections to consent? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it.
I hear Senator Rochford wants to take it out.
Senator Roachford.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough to
Good
do.
hearing over there. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it.
173.
173.
I'll move interim study.
We have a motion interim study in a second. Okay. All right. Discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of interim study say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Consent.
Ayes have it. Anybody opposed to
Second.
consent? Being no opposition, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Since you seconded, do you want to take it out?
Sure.
I don't give you many, so.
348.
348. I'm going to run over a little bit on the time. because I've got a couple senators that have to leave, and so the hearings can happen while they're gone. But I want everybody here for the votes.
Yeah.
I want to auto pass on 348.
We have OTP
Second.
and 348. And I will move amendment 1070S.
I'll second that.
1070 S.
Yep, I believe that's the right one.
Yep.
That is the one that was developed by the group that I threw out of here and told me to go to my office. And in fact, the prime sponsor, Representative Rhodes, is also a sponsor of the amendment. Any discussion?
I just comment, we had a similar bill in HHS 441. This amendment goes a little further than the scope that we discussed in HHS. I, like you, Mr. Chairman, spoke to the parties involved. They're happy with this, so I think it's a good move.
Okay, and we'll need to talk about that in
Yep.
the Republican caucus to make sure that we,
Yeah, I think it's special ordered at this point. So,
right, it's
yeah,
special ordered to the same day this one is.
Yep.
So just need to
Take care of that.
dot our i's and cross our t's.
I think the amendment is an improvement. I appreciate the work that went into it.
Yep.
As I've said previously, I don't think the underlying bill is necessary, but I do think this amendment accounts for a lot of the concerns. There was still one lingering concern that was raised by NAMI, which is for individuals who are involuntarily admitted to a hospital and who lose their housing due to the length of time they are hospitalized. So they won't have government documentation when they get out, and they probably will be in need of assistance, but maybe there's some way you and I can find
Well-
one sentence over the next week.
They certainly had a residence before they went in the hospital. Certainly the attestation, and I'm trying to get my tongue to work this morning.
Attestation, yeah.
Option is open to them. The hospital records would have shown their address when they checked into the hospital. And I can tell you from my experience with the welfare directors, they do have a lot of compassion for the people that come in and are not looking for reasons to deny their residence.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put those last two words in there.
Yeah.
Their residence.
I do think an attestation from an emergency medical services provider as provided on line 26 could partially address the concern, as you just said. So I'll talk to them further about that if there's anything else they want to do, and if we need a word or two, maybe.
We can do it as a floor amendment
Yep.
or, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so we're voting on amendment 1070S. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The bill is amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And right, any objection to consent? All those in favor of consent say aye. Aye. And anybody in particular want to take that one out? I can do it.
I think you should, Mr. Chair.
All right. I'll do it. What's next on your list?
488
488.
on ITL.
Second?
All right. In your emails, I think you got a copy of RSA 6697. Okay, 6697 says the local governments can pretty much do what they want about incompatible offices. So to try to do this at a state level to fix a problem in one or two communities is why I will support the ITL motion. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
All right, Senator Lang and me. All right, all those in favor of ITL say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. And
Consent.
ayes have it. Any objection to consent?
No.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay.
Okay.
And Senator Lang gets it.
And for-
10:44.
Yep.
Okay.
The email when it came through on my phone was very funny. It was like number.
Move, pass.
We have a motion about to pass.
Second.
Seconded by Senator Rutherford. We have, I'll move amendment 1190S.
Second for discussion purposes. Not that I have any specific
okay.
objection, but I
That's
look
okay.
forward to hearing about your amendment.
We had a couple of different complaints. The counties that do elect their county commissioners at large, even though they elect them, they have to live in the district, but the votes are at large, wanted to retain their at-large voting. and
Okay.
That's certainly fine for me. And as we saw or heard in the public hearing, if you've got too few representatives in a particular county, then that was a concern. That chart that you held up was meant to show you that it's, even if you had 4 representatives, it would be unlikely that you'd get down to just 1 because the way the districts would have to be divvied up. But putting the number 3 in there as the minimum before the whole county delegation votes on it took care of the majority of their objections. So, and I did speak to the author, the prime sponsor, and the way that the original bill was worded, because county commissioner districts often break up cities. It did not make a distinction between city wards and the whole city. So if you represented one ward, you know, if one ward was in a county commissioner district, that whole, everyone that was representing that city would have voted the way it was worded. Further discussion?
No, this looks fine and looks to address the concerns raised in committee and seems to allow for appropriate representation in that vote. So I don't see any concerns.
Okay, seeing no other discussion, we're voting on the amendment 1190S. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. We're voting on the bill as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Is there an objection to consent?
Nope.
Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And I guess I'll take that one out too. I played with it enough. I guess I should take it out. All right,
1246.
1246.
I'll move on to pass.
Second.
1246. We have an OTP motion. Senator Lang, Senator Roachford. Discussion.
All it says, Mr. Chair, this is the inverse bill we had last year. Last year, we made sure the zoning board members couldn't vote on planning board decisions if they were also on the planning board, and this does the inverse. It pushes it back to the planning board. So if you're on a planning board, you can't do things you decided on the zoning board. So I think it's a good inverse bill to cover all the bases. That's why I moved OTP.
Further discussion?
No, I
All
agree.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. And any objection to consent?
Nope.
Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Senator Long, I haven't
I
given
can
you
take
a
this
bill
one.
yet. I haven't given you one, so you got this one. All right. 1296?
Yes, I'll move ITL.
Second that.
All right.
If I can speak to it.
Yep.
So, Mr. Chair, the reason I'm moving ITL is this would force all of our communities to do an upgrade without local community involvement. We just set a floor and we allow them to do as large of a increase as they want within reason and by the voters. And so by this, we would force every community that's adopted who might still be at the floor level, force them to increase their tax credit without any local input whatsoever. For that reason, I'm moving IT
Or do away with it.
or do away with it.
Senator, your microphone's not on. I don't know if you wanted to.
Sure. Again, I'll just say that this is for the people in YouTube land. So again, this is about setting a floor, and this increases the floor without any local engagement. We have no ceiling. They're allowed to increase below the floor if they choose to, and many communities did. We had it in our just in our last town election. We increased both the veterans credit and the indigent credits here. So I think that towns are already doing this. I don't think we should forcibly mandate that they increase the floor if they haven't without local voter input.
And I would just add to that very sound reasoning that the unintended consequence could be higher property taxes on those that are not eligible for this credit. So I agree with all the reasoning put forth, and I'll just add that.
Okay.
And I'm just going to add, I agree with everything said. And one thing that came out again during the hearing is that municipalities are not prohibited from raising that on their own now. I went to go vote after we had a hearing last week, and Littleton increased theirs from 52,000 to 105,000 for 75 and to 80 years old, and which was their decision. They did it, and that's why I don't think this bill's needed.
Further discussion?
No, sir.
Seeing none. All those in favor of ITL say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it.
Move consent.
Have any objection to consent?
No.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. And
I'm taking it.
Senator Lang. Okay. Do I have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion second to come out of executive session. All those in favor say aye, aye. All those opposed say nay, and the ayes have it. We're back in regular session, and we will begin the hearing on 1468. Representative, if you would introduce yourself on the bill.
Thank you, Senator Gray. For the record, my name is Representative Suzanne Vale, and I am a representative from Nashua Ward 3, Hillsborough County 6. I'm here before you today to introduce House Bill 1468, a measure that would authorize municipalities to include resilience planning in their master plans to support municipal flood resilience for the immediate future. The House Resources, Recreation, and Development Committee, on which I serve, has heard testimony on a number of bills that address or attempt to address the result of repeated severe flooding. These events require a hazard response and emergency management, as well as informed planning for areas where there's documented risk to infrastructure and public safety. And while cities and towns can garner financial support in an emergency response, they also need to demonstrate that their town or city is getting ahead of the required planning or for mitigation and for resilience. And the state should provide options to towns by signaling this planning in RSA 674. As an example in testimony that we heard related to the town of Ackworth and the surrounding area, they experienced two storms that dropped between 4 and 7 inches of rain in less than 2 years apart, disabling 31 roads and 32 roads respectively, and undoing repairs from previous damage and weather events. And we learned that mitigation and forward-reaching plans should be considered in master plans to address these expected problems in the areas where they're occurring now. What the bill does is it intends to add an option to embed flood resilience into a municipality's core guiding document, their municipal planning and master plan, in order to allow an optional instrument and a home for flood resilience that will address the future in greatest areas of risk and signal that flood resilience is a master plan function that can be addressed on a long-term basis. I think where this comes in as important is not so much towns have emergency plans. They have ways that they want to address, but they don't necessarily have the piece in place forward reaching into the future where some of the grants and some of the monies that they're going to come into are released in sections, and those sections are based upon what they're going to do for the future. Now, in a town where there's 31 roads being washed out, obviously they're going to have some serious plans that need to be forward reaching, and not just off in the future or in a 5-year plan, but just in the here and now while they try to recover. Again, still need to demonstrate that they have plans to replace infrastructure and to be resilient. So the bill as it's written has a flaw, in my opinion, and it unintentionally alters existent statutory duties in a way that I would be less comfortable with. And so what I did was I created a potential replace all amendment that strikes changes and simply adds an optional section, authority in its own home. And so the amendment as the bill has no appropriation is needed. It is local option only. There is no new staffing or administration. State agencies are not required to implement or oversee any new process. And it's for planning only. Any costs occur only if a municipality voluntarily undertakes planning, typically using existing resources or grants that are already available. Potential downstream savings as improved planning can reduce future disaster repair costs for those towns that perhaps can come up with a plan to try to get ahead of what's going on. I listed 2 anticipated questions, but that doesn't mean that your committee plans to ask them. So I will conclude there and just to say that you have a copy of the replace all amendment that I felt was perhaps needed. But I will say that this bill passed through the House Municipal and County Government Committee, and they were 100% in favor of the bill. Thank you.
All right, questions?
Questions?
Seeing none, and the senators had another meeting. That's why they left. They didn't leave on the content, rest assured. All right, seeing no other questions, thank you very much. We only had one other person sign up, did not wish to speak. I do have a question, though, if she has seen the proposed amendment and whether she supports that amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do recall that in the House Municipal and County Government Committee, there was an amendment.
Have you seen it?
There was one, and we felt that.
I need that back.
Yes. And we felt that the bill as introduced was sufficient. We didn't feel like whatever amendment was presented over in the House. So
I'll give you a minute to
Okay.
read it. All right. As I said, there was only one other person, and that was the representative here. The online signups, there was 26 in support and 1 opposed.
So reading this right here now on the spot, there's nothing that stands out to me that would be concerning. If the prime sponsor feels that this is meets the goals of her legislative intent, then there's nothing, because it is May, it says May choose, so.
Because the amendment came in today, I'm not in favor of pushing this forward today, no matter what. So, thank you very
Okay.
much.
You want me to stay in place?
Yes, you certainly can if you got the next one. I haven't looked that far ahead yet, you know. And with that, we'll close the public hearing on this bill, and we'll open the next one in just a second. Okay. Thank you. Did I give you the other one? All right, I probably tucked it away because that's the thing I do. You got to watch these senators all the time, you know. And we are at the time. Okay. And we'll open the public hearing on, need to change the sign. 10:30, is it 10:31? No, 1494.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. For the record, I am Representative Diane Power, representing the towns of Brookline, Mason, and Greenville in Hillsborough County District 36. And I also serve as the chairman of the House Municipal and County Government Committee. I'm here as a prime sponsor to introduce House Bill 1494. This is a straightforward bill that simply increases the statutory maximum amounts for 3 optional property tax credits to reflect inflation using the CPIU Northeast. So the 3 optional tax credits are the optional veterans tax credit and the optional combat service tax credit. These maximum values were last increased in 2018. And the third one is the surviving spouse tax credit, which hasn't been adjusted since 2003. Notably, if a municipality wishes to increase these to the new maximum amounts, that would have to be done at the local level through a vote of the legislative body. So in conclusion, this is a very simple, straightforward bill. It provides reasonable adjustments to these optional veterans tax credits, providing a modest relief for our New Hampshire veterans. And that concludes my testimony.
All right, questions from the senators. I've heard people say they're tired of getting these, you know, year after year after year. The bill that we just had on the other one set a floor and can't be below that if you're going to have it, and let the community set the upper limit.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Oh, can I answer? Were you done?
It's a question.
Okay.
My
Wasn't
voice
sure
went
if
up at
you.
the end. That's
Okay.
what my wife tells me.
So thank you for the question, Mr. Chairman. My response would be is that in the past 6 years, with regards to the other veterans tax credits that we have in statute, they have been adjusted for inflation, and these numbers, due to inflation, are no longer worth, you know, what they were when the laws were enacted. So this is different from a floor, as we see in the bill language. It's the max. So in law, we're changing this so that if the communities wish to change it, they can. It would have to be adopted locally, and it's to adjust for inflation. Just like in the New Hampshire Constitution, we get $100. Back then, it was worth more.
I don't think you're getting
Okay, maybe I
the point of
don't.
the question.
Okay.
If I keep the floor, the $51 and the whatever, okay, and say, take out the maximum and let the community set it whatever they want. If they want to set it at $1 million, I could go do it. I mean, we're getting these things year after year after year after year after year. People don't understand that there's a difference between the combat veterans, all veterans, disabled veterans, you know, all of those different things. And so they think they've changed one when they're putting in a bill, and they haven't changed the one they want, and they haven't changed the others. So these get left behind. So the question is why keep on fooling with this? And my community isn't even up to the max that is set right now.
There are a number of communities that are to the max, and just this past Saturday, my community did change one of the veterans tax credits that the max was recently changed. So, as I said, for the past 6 years, the other veterans tax credits have been adjusted, and I've been part of that. And these are the last ones remaining, and I won't be coming back with more. So I would like to change all of them and then be done.
All right. Any other questions?
Would you believe that we might not need a minimum either? Because these days I'm not sure it would be worth the paperwork to provide someone with a tax credit of $50.
Senator? Yeah, we have another person to testify. I think he's chomping at the bit to oh, he's not chomping at the bit. No. Oh, all right.
Are you all set with me? Yes.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished senators on the committee, for the record, my name is Kevin Grady. I am a 25-year Air Force veteran, and I'm also a 28-year resident of the town of Hooksett, New Hampshire. And with the committee's indulgence, I'd like to do the 30-second commercial because there are a couple people I haven't seen yet this year. We are the state veterans. I'm here representing the State Veterans Advisory Committee. There are 20 member organizations on there whose names should be familiar to you, things like the American Legion, the VFW. I personally represent the Air and Space Forces Association. We are chartered by state RSA 115:A-8 to speak for the veteran community. And you can also find us through the DMAV's website if you want to find us there. One of the things we do is we look at all of the bills that are coming to you folks to become law. We sort out the ones that have veteran impact. There are 29 of them. We take a position on them or not, and then I come and tell you what that position is. On this particular bill, the first thing I should tell you is that every time something involves money, we look at it really closely because we don't want the only time that you see me is I've got my hand out and I'm looking for money. And we are all taxpayers too, just like all of you folks are. And we realize that if you put a tax credit in over here for somebody, and couldn't be a veteran, it could be anybody, that money has to be made up in the town somewhere else. And because of that, we're very cognizant, especially of bills that mandate things like this. This particular bill kind of falls in what we would like to say is a sweet spot in that it is enabling legislation. If a town wants to do it, the town can do it, and it's a nice thing to do. But some towns may not be able to afford this, and we understand that. So we do support the legislation. More importantly, a lot of times I get to come tell you that we support the spirit of the legislation, but the stubby pencil work is kind of up to people smarter than me, especially. And so the last thing I would throw out with this is you've seen another bill. I testified at one of Senator Gray's other hearings about 1415, which is the New Hampshire First for Veterans program that is coming through. The bill still needs a little bit more work since they folded the new program we're standing up in with the license plate bill portion of it. But the governor's vision on this is that we want to go out and physically attract more veterans to the state of New Hampshire. When they're finished with their military service, we want them to come here and get jobs here, and their spouses to get jobs here, and they raise their families here. So I think this kind of fits right in with it. I think this will be something that'll end up on a flyer somewhere. These are tax credits that you would get if you move here. So it's a nice thing to do. It doesn't require the town to do it, and for those reasons we support it. And that's really all I wanted to tell you. It's subject to your questions.
So we'll ask the same question I asked of the last one. We've got all these veterans credits. People don't understand the differences between the various ones. Even some of the people who are voting on these things don't understand. Can I take away the maximums and then the towns can do what they want?
I think, Senator, if you were to put in a bill that says, the veteran tax credit, the mandatory one is $50, which it is, and other than that, the town can do whatever they can afford. I think our committee would support that.
Further questions? Seeing done, thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator, ladies and gentlemen.
And let's see, with that, that's our last speaker. Let me dig down in here into this pile and find how many people signed up. And 7 support, 0 opposed. And with that, we'll close the public hearing.
Got 5 minutes before our next hearing, Chair.
But I don't have Senator Lang here. And we've done all the other ones.
I think, yeah, we just okay.
So I guess
We'll hang out.
we'll be in recess for 3 minutes. 1031. Representative? If you'd introduce yourself and the bill, please.
Sure. Good afternoon. Well, yeah, it is afternoon. Good afternoon, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Wendy Thomas, and I represent the town of Merrimack. I'm here to introduce this bill 1031, which is a bill that allows people who are running for state office to allocate some of their campaign funds to be used for security measures. Now, this summer, I spent a bit of time with the Secretary of State's office going over the wording for this, and the wording mimics what is said on the federal level. So on the federal level, they allow a certain amount of money to be used for security reasons, but we didn't have anything for the state level. So they welcomed something that would put sort of boundaries on the state level. However, in the House, originally this bill had a cap of $3,000 per campaign per term, which the Secretary of State and we thought was reasonable. In the House, they did bring up the objection that the governor's race obviously needs more security, which would be more than $3,000. And some of the Senate races may cap over $3,000. The reason for putting $3,000 in there was that we didn't want abuse. We didn't want people to buy large black SUVs with tinted windows and claim that they were security vehicles that were needed for their race. So in the House, they removed the cap, so there is no cap now. It's up to you whether you pass it. It passed on a bipartisan level. I would suggest maybe putting a cap in. Without having any cap at all, it seems that you could run into murky waters. And if there is concern about the different races, then you could also specify that this bill would apply to New Hampshire representative races, which is really what I had in mind. Those are the ones, many of us don't even raise more than $500. I mean, I know many candidates that don't even get that much money. So we thought $3,000 would be an acceptable amount for those races. So that's the bill, that's the history, and I'm open for any questions.
Questions from the senators?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome.
So how would they show that it's for their own security?
It's listed. So as an example, this past summer, I was swatted, right? So because I was swatted, somebody, I was surrounded by police, all that kind of stuff. I now have a camera in the front and the back of my car. So that's a reasonable expense. Because I am who I am and I'm rather outspoken, I constantly get death threats. I get threats of violence. I get threats to burn down my house. My daughters get threats of rape. So we have a camera in the front and the back of my house. So I think we're supposed to be truthful. So I think if you put legitimate devices under the category now of security, we would have to accept your word. But the bill lists the items that would be covered.
Okay, and a follow-up, if I may.
Yep.
Is there any longitude on, like, your cameras? Could that be as long as you're a representative?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would cover so it would cover the campaign, and if you were elected, you would like a lot of these cameras have subscriptions that you pay monthly subscriptions.
Yeah.
You could cover that until you are no longer elected or running a campaign.
Very good. Thank you.
And also, just to add, the idea for this bill came about. I went to a Women in Government conference, and I met Senator Pappas, who has no relation to Chris Pappas or any of the Pappases of New Hampshire. She's out in Minnesota, and she was one of the people that were on the list for that assassin. And he actually went to her house, rang the doorbell, but she was on vacation with her family. If she had answered the door, she might be a statistic right now. So there was a lot of discussion amongst women of how we can protect ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for taking my question. So would you consider firearms and body armor part of this personal protection?
That came up in the House. It is not called out specifically. That would be a judgment call from the Secretary of State.
Okay. Thank you.
But the other thing with regard to the guns is we wanted a cap because we didn't want anyone to amass tons of guns in the name of protection, you know?
Add to their collection.
Correct.
But that wouldn't be prohibited, if I may follow up. The way this is written, would that be prohibited to buy body armor? I mean, it's not specifically called out, but I think, body armor is,
Right,
would be considered.
A bulletproof vest, I would think, would fall under this as well.
All right.
So it is not called out. It is up to the Secretary of State, but I think that there's a good argument for including that.
Thank you.
Yep. As well as non-lethal guns.
So the way I read it, line 13, security devices is what you say there. And anything that provides me security, and that could include all of those things, would be allowed.
I agree. Although I'm not going to make that decision. I think it's up to the Secretary of State.
Well, it's not up to the Secretary of State to put the words in the bill. And that's
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you want to put guns in?
no, I
Oh.
didn't say that.
Okay.
I'm saying that the way I read the bill right now, it's already allowed. If there's questions about that, certainly the Senate could change those words to do something.
I agree. This does not prohibit that.
All right. Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Representative Lane.
All set?
Yeah.
For the record, my name is Connie Lane. I represent Concord Ward 2, which is Merrimack District 16, and I am the ranking member of the Election Law Committee. And we brought this bill mostly because of the increasing violence that we've seen, unfortunately, in the past few years. And we brought it so that New Hampshire politicians, and she gave you a great history on the bill, so I won't repeat any of that, but so that we can use campaign funds to provide security for ourselves. So speaking for myself alone, obviously I am a woman, and my family is very concerned. They do not want me using my license plate, my state rep license plate. I took my address down from all the state stuff. And I do not wear this anywhere except in the buildings where I need to wear it. So I think they were more concerned about my safety than I was, but I've respected them and done that. So we are living in a time, unfortunately, where all of us are targets. The American University and others have done studies that have showed that there was about a 40% increase in violence against politicians and in the first 6 months of 2025 over the first 6 months into 2024. They don't have the data yet for now, but it's increasing. And the most famous cases I think we've seen are Charlie Kirk and the Speaker of Minnesota's House, Melissa Hortman. New Hampshire is not immune to that. In recent weeks, there have been death threats against people who have brought proposals for an income tax by the New Hampshire Libertarian Party. And two representatives. There has been language by Representative Corcoran about using the final solution against a young Jewish rep. And there has been threats of deportation for a naturalized immigration member of the House of Representatives, Representative Bay from Dover. So these threats are not, they're here in New Hampshire, unfortunately. So I would like to, if I can, I'll go ahead and try and answer some of the questions that came up that we had the discussions in our committee. So to answer your question, Senator, guns were included. It was the reading of the whole committee that guns would be included. It wasn't the original intent, I think, of Representative Thomas and myself, but they are included in the language. And again, to your point, not to add to your collection, but for personal safety. And so that was really, I mean, it was a unanimous, it was on consent. The bill passed on consent. So it was bipartisan, and we worked, and people thought it was something that we needed to do because the definition of what you can use money for from your campaign funds does not include personal use. So the concern was that this would be seen as personal use and not something to protect yourself just because you're running for office or you're in office. So I can take any questions.
Senator Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your testimony. Are you, where do you stand on the placing a cap? Like a $3,000 cap?
Well, I went without the cap because it was very clear that the Republicans on the committee did not want to go with the cap. And again, it was because they felt that the people running for Senate and people running for the governorship would exceed that cap probably in one day or maybe two. And so we had to get rid of it. So if you wanted to do it by office, I guess we could approach it that way. But for me, it was more important to get the bill on the books and do it. And then if we have issues about it and want to put a cap in later, we can. Or if you think a cap would be an improvement, by all means, you know, I would support it because I think it cuts down on some of the potential abuse. But
Very good. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay. Senator Long.
Connie, long time no see. Connie and I served on election law.
Yes, we
in the
did.
House.
My first term.
So when we were talking a conversation about guns, I think the key is probably in line 12 where it says such security measures include but are not limited to.
Correct.
And then even in sections 1, 2, 3, and 4 there, the key words are non-structural security device, and then the such as is just a non-exhaustive list as I read
Right,
that.
correct.
And the same with the number 2, right? Structural security devices such as. It's just a exhaustive list to give examples of things. Is that
Correct.
how I read it? And you
Yes,
read it
that's
the
how
same?
we read it too.
Great, thank you.
And that I think was drafted that way, intention by the Secretary of State and Representative Thomas to do that. I had a similar bill in, and we dropped my bill and went with hers because frankly, hers was better.
Looking at the list, I guess I would think that a Roman 5 training for the use of the devices would also be something that should be added to that because you don't talk about that in the ones above.
If that's something that do you think would be important, I would have absolute. I mean,
Well,
I could see
to have
why.
a firearm. Certainly, I would like you to go through the training. You know, if
Yes.
someone's going to have one, or if you're, a taser. Certainly,
Learn how to
in
use-
the use of a taser and where
Mm-hmm.
not to tase somebody would be a nice thing to have. You
Well-
buy a security system, and you don't know how to use it. You might hire somebody to come in and show you how to do it. So.
That would be where I would need my training because I won't be purchasing a firearm. But as my kids say, I'm a boomer, and they roll their eyes when they say it. And technology is a little hard for me, so I would definitely need training for that.
I got 2 slingshots at home,
I have a vicious 20-pound dog, so
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you very much.
And we'll, let's see, who signed up for and against? All right.
we turn this on.
That was all the people who signed up here. Online, there was 8 in support, 1 opposed. And unless somebody has anything, we'll close that public hearing. And I don't think we need to do anything with any of the other 3 that we've had today. We're going to be back tomorrow. For scheduling purposes, we think that we're going to get enough bills that pretty much from now on, we're going to be having to do like 6 a day when we have a meeting, or schedule meetings on Monday or Friday or something like that.
Do them and get them done.
So okay, we may get Jessica some overtime or comp time in here, but it's not all the bills are going to be as quick as the ones that I tried to pick for tomorrow that I hope are that quick. All right, anybody have anything else? All right, our business of the day being complete, we are adjourned.
10:16.